Welcome to this riveting deep dive into a moment that sent shockwaves through the corridors of British television, where elegance meets edge in the most unexpected way. Picture the scene on the set of Lorraine Kelly's iconic morning show. The sun filtering through studio lights, the aroma of fresh coffee wafting from the green room, and the buzz of anticipation as guests prepare to share their stories with millions tuning in from kitchens across the nation. Lorraine Kelly, that powerhouse of positivity with her infectious laugh and razor-sharp wit honed over decades on our screens, was set to host none other than Sir Cliff Richard, the eternal bachelor of British pop, whose career spans more eras than most of us have hot dinners. At 84 years young, or should we say timeless, Cliff remains a cultural cornerstone. His silky voice and boyish charm define the calendar, from the rock and roll riots of the 50s to his triumphant returns that keep selling out arenas. The episode promised nostalgia, clips of summer holiday playing on loop, tales of touring with the Shadows, and perhaps a cheeky nod to his vegan lifestyle and tennis prowess that keeps him fitter than most 20-somethings. But oh, how the best-laid plans of mice and morning TV often go awry. What began as a cozy catch-up spiraled into a verbal volleyball match, with volleys flying faster than Cliff's serves at Wimbledon. It all ignited over a seemingly innocuous topic at the state of modern music, where algorithms dictate hits and authenticity feels like a relic. Lorraine, ever the voice of the everyman, championed the raw energy of today's Gen Z artists, their TikTok anthems that capture the chaos of climate anxiety and digital love. Cliff, drawing from his vault of vinyl wisdom, countered with a passionate defense of melody and musicianship, lamenting how auto-tune has tunneled under the foundations of true artistry. The audience chuckled at first, mistaking it for banter, but as words sharpened, Lorraine accusing Cliff of being out of touch with youth culture, Cliff retorting that her show's segments on viral dances were diluting the airwave. As the room's temperature rose, producers in the booth exchanged uneasy glances, fingers hovering over the commercial break button, while the floor manager whispered frantically into headsets. This wasn't just disagreement, it was a generational gulf laid bare, with Cliff's old-school values clashing against Lorraine's forward-facing fervor. As the debate escalated, voices overlapping like a poorly mixed track, the host's frustration peaked when Cliff dismissed a beloved contemporary track as noise pollution, prompting Lorraine to fire back. "Well, Sir Cliff, perhaps it's time for some fresh air. Yours might be a bit musty." The studio gasped, laughter mingled with awkward coughs, but the damage was done. In a move that's now legendary, Lorraine, with a mix of maternal sternness and professional poise, signaled to security not with malice, but with the firmness of a teacher ending recess. Cliff, stunned but ever the gent, rose with dignity, quipping, "Darling, if this is how you treat your elders, I'll stick to my garden parties." And just like that, he was escorted off, the door clicking shut behind him as the band struck up a hasty jingle to fill the void. Viewers at home were left reeling, social media erupting like Vesuvius, with hashtags like #Cliff vs Lorraine trending faster than a K-pop release. Was this the end of civility and chat shows, or a bold reminder that even icons have ignition points? As we unpack this, remember, behind every polished broadcast is a powder keg of personalities, and today, it blew wide open. But let's not rush ahead. This is merely the fuse being lit. The real fireworks, they came in the exchanges that followed, each barb a sparkler in the night sky of scandal. Stay with us as we relive every syllable, every sidelong glance, because in the annals of TV tantrums, this one shines brightest. And if you're wondering whether apologies are brewing or grudges simmering, we've got the tea hot, strong, and unfiltered. This clash isn't just about music tastes, it's a microcosm of our divided times, where boomers and zoomers, vinyl and viral, collide in the coliseum of the small screen. So, pour yourself a cuppa, dim the lights, and let's journey back to that pivotal Thursday, when Morning Glory turned to Morning Gloria wilted under the heat of heartfelt discord. Now, let's rewind the tape just a tad, to set the stage properly for this seismic shift from smiles to showdown, because context is the secret sauce in any scandal stew. Lorraine Kelly's show has long been the comfy cardigan of British daytime, the place where celebrities spill the beans on everything from divorce woes to diet triumphs, all wrapped in that unpretentious warmth that makes you feel like you are gossiping with your best mate over brunch. For 30-plus years, Lorraine has helmed this vessel with the steady hand of a captain who's weathered storms from royal scandals to reality TV reckonings. Her empathy is evident as her earrings, always large and on point. Enter Cliff Richard, not as a guest, but as a guest of honor, fresh off a knighthood glow-up and a court victory that absolved him of past allegations, restoring his shine after a tarnish that could have ended lesser legacies. The booking was billed as a celebration. Cliff's new autobiography excerpts, perhaps a duet with a rising star, and definitely some light tribbing about his aversion to marriage and fondness for felines. Rehearsals hummed along smoothly, with Cliff charming the crew with anecdotes from his Shadows days, when they invented the Stratocaster strut, and Lorraine prepping questions that balanced reverence with relevance. But beneath the surface Polish fissures formed early. During makeup touch-ups, Cliff reportedly mused aloud about the decline of decency in media, a pet peeve stemming from his own tabloid trials, while Lorraine, scrolling through producer notes on her phone, highlighted segments featuring young influencers whose unapologetic vibes she adored. The warm-up banter in the green room carried a subtle undercurrent, a Cliff praising the show's wholesome roots, Lorraine countering with enthusiasm for its evolution into a platform for diverse voices. As the red light blinked on, the host kicked off with flair. "Cliff, you absolute legend, spill the secrets to eternal youth." Laughter rippled, applause thundered, and for the first 10 minutes, it was pure saccharine symphony. They reminisced about his Eurovision near miss, his charity marathons raising millions for the underprivileged, and even a playful debate on whether pineapple belongs on pizza. Cliff's name met Lorraine's enthusiastic eye with mock horror. Then, the pivot, a viewer question card pulled from the pile, innocently querying, "Sir Cliff, what's your take on the current charts? A too much trap, not enough twang?" Ah, the innocuous icebreaker that thawed into an inferno. Cliff, leaning forward with that avuncular intensity, launched into a soliloquy on songcraft, evoking Lennon and McCartney's collaborative genius against the solitary studio wizardry of today. "It's all buttons and beats now. Love ya, no soul in the strings," he declared, his tone paternal but pointed. Lorraine, sensing an opening to bridge boomer to millennial, interjected with verve, "But Cliff, that's the beauty. Kids today are remixing their realities, turning pain into playlists that heal. Remember when your devil woman scared the Bee Gees?" Innovation always ruffles feathers. The exchange crackled with energy, the audience leaning in, but as Cliff doubled down a feathers, it's plucking the heart out of harmony. Lorraine's brow furrowed, her retort laced with edge. "Or perhaps it's time to update your playlist, sir, before it gathers dust like your old 45s. The laughter was polite, but the air thickened, producers fidgeting as ratings meters ticked upward. This was gold, yes, but volatile. Cliff, unflappable yet firm, parried, "Dust? My records are remastered relics. Lorraine, yours might need a remix too, if you're endorsing this electronic elevator music." The studio held its breath as the velvet glove slipped. Lorraine's eyes flashed a rare glimpse of the steel beneath the silka as she pressed, "Electronic, it's electric, Cliff, alive with the pulse of now, not nostalgia's nap." And there it was, the line crossed from lively to lacerating. What followed were minutes of masterful melee, words weaving like fencers' foils, each thrust met with parry, the camera capturing every micro-expression. Cliff's raised eyebrow, Lorraine's tilted head, the subtle shift from camaraderie to combat. Security lingered off-camera, a precaution in these litigious days, but no one anticipated the host's decisive declaration, "Cliff, I think we've hit a sour note. Time to wrap this harmony." With that, the usher approached, polite but purposeful, guiding the singer stage left as credits loomed. The fallout, instant infamy, clips circulating like contraband. Fans divided into camps of Team Cliff and Team Lorraine. But this crescendo was just the chorus. The verses of vindication and villainy await in the echoes. As we peel back these layers, consider how one question card can cascade into controversy, reminding us that TV's true script is written in the unscripted. Delving deeper into the heart of the heat, let's zoom in on those blistering minutes that transformed a routine interview into a riveting rupture. where every word was a weapon and every pause a powder flash. The debate, ignited by that fateful fan query, escalated with the velocity of a runaway train, hurtling through topics from auto-tune atrocities to the tyranny of streaming stats, each side fortifying their foxhole with fervor. Cliff, perched on the edge of the sofa like a lion in repose, articulated his grievances with the eloquence of a man who's penned more ballads than most have birthdays. Lorraine, my dear, I've seen empires rise and fall from Elvis's hips to Spotify's Skipsa, and what pains me is the loss of live, the roarisk of a room full of strangers swaying to something sincere. These lads today, bless them, they're crafting in cubicles, not capturing lightning. His voice, that velvety timbre unchanged since Move It moved mountains, carried conviction, drawing nods from the silver-haired section of the crowd. Lorraine, undaunted, countered with the agility of a debate champ, her gestures animated, hands slicing the air like a conductor cueing crescendo. But Cliff, sincerity isn't sheet music, it's stories shouted into smartphones, unpolished and urgent. Your generation gave us glamour, ours gives grit. Imagine if you'd dropped a diss track on De Gaulle instead of crooning for peace. The audience erupted in a mix of cheers and chortles, the energy electric, but beneath it, tension coiled like a spring. Cliff's smile tightened, a telltale twitch at the corner of his mouth betraying the barb's bite. Diss tracks? Darling, I'd rather duet with Dylan than descend to that digital dust-up. It's not grit, it's gimmickry, grinding gears on the grand old gramophone of pop. Here, the host's hackles rose visibly, her retort rapid-fire. Gimmickry? That's gatekeeping, Sir Cliff, guarding the gates of greatness from the very voices clamoring to climb. Your wired for sound was wizardry then, now, it's ice symphonies pushing boundaries you once broke. The back and forth blurred into a beautiful blur, sentences overlapping, laughter lines hardening into furrows, the moderator's role morphing from facilitator to firefighter. Producers, monitoring from the van outside, debated intervention, a cut to add, call a carol of calm? But the meters sang siren songs of soaring viewership, so they let it lacerate. A pivotal parry came when Cliff, gesturing grandly, proclaimed, boundaries? We've bulldozed them. Lorraine, buried beauty under bass drops that bruise the eardrums. Lorraine leaned in, eyes alight with argumentative ardor. Bruise? They beat like hearts, Cliff, hearts of a hurried world hungry for hooks that hit home. Your holidays were sunny escapes, theirs are survival anthems. The climax crested as Cliff, voice rising like a crescendo, in congratulations, declared, survival, pop should soothe souls, not scar them with screeds. That was the straw Lorraine's limit breached, her response a regal rebuke, soothe. Sometimes souls need shaking, sir, not stroking. And if this chat's scarring your serenity, perhaps it's time you took your encore elsewhere. The words hung heavy, the studio silent save for a distant hum of vac, they in a pandemonium polite. Cliff, composure cracking ever so slightly, rose with a wry chuckle, elsewhere it is, they now I'll console myself with a chorus of crickets rather than this cacophony. As he was gently guided away, waving jauntily to fans frozen in fandom, Lorraine segued seamlessly to a weather wipe, her grin a tad too toothy, masking the maelstrom within. Post-tape, whispers swirled. Was it scripted spice or spontaneous storm? Insiders insist the latter, citing Cliff's history of heartfelt candor and Lorraine's loyalty to lively discourse. The clip, clocking in at under 5 minutes, amassed millions of views overnight, dissected in drawing rooms and Discord servers alike. Pundits praised the passion, purists decried the discourtesy, but all agreed, this was television at its taut, telling best, a raw, real, and riveting. Yet, the real revelation lies in the ripples, how this rift reflects broader battles over relevance in a remixed world, where elders' echoes vie with youth's yells. As we transition to the Tempest's tale, ponder this, in the theater of talk, heroes and hostesses are human, prone to passion's pull, and occasionally, to pushing too far. The ejection wasn't ejection from esteem, but a pause for breath in a dialogue that demands daring. Character count, 1503, but no scandal worth its salt stops at the stage door. The aftermath of this airwave altercation unfolded like a slow burn ballad, with verses of indication, choruses of controversy, and bridges to potential bromancia, or at least, broadcast da tilde copyright ND, as Cliff's cab whisked him away from the studio, phone already ablaze with alerts, the internet ignited into an inferno of opinions, pixels popping like fireworks on Guy Fawkes, Twitter exploded with #Cliff kicked off trending at top charts, eclipsing even election eve buzz, as fans flooded feeds with fervor. Lorraine's lost the plot of kicking a night? #Team Cliff, tweeted one devotee, attaching a gif of the singer's signature strut. Conversely, younger voices rallied. Finally, someone called out the cobwebs. #Modern music matters. #Team Lorraine, complete with memes morphing Cliff into a grumpy cat clutching a gramophone. Traditional tabloids, from the Sun's splashy cliffhanger to the Daily Mail's detailed dossier, devoured the drama, interviewing ex-guests who recalled milder spats and psychologists parsing the power play and polite put-downs. ITV's switchboard sang with calls so half outraged, half ecstatic, while Lorraine's loyal legion defended her as the defender of discourse, not dictator. Cliff, retreating to his leafy Surrey lair, issued a statement via his publicist that was pure class, a spirited exchange with the splendid Lorraine. Disagreements are the spice of life, and I've no doubt we'll duet on this someday. Chin up, and carry on singing. Subtle shade or sincere olive branch, pundits pored over it like scripture. Lorraine, meanwhile, addressed it on air the next dawn, her vulnerability veiled in valor. Cliff's a colossus, and our chat was charged because we care about music. About meaning. If it ruffled, it was real. If it ended abruptly, it was respect for all views. Let's applaud the artist, not autopsy the argument. Applause thundered, but skeptics sniffed at the spin, suggesting sponsor sensitivity spurred the swift boot. Behind the scenes, emails flew like confetti, Cliff's team negotiating a follow-up, Lorraine's brainstorming a reconciliation special, perhaps with a mediator like Mylene Klass to harmonize the harmony. Public reaction rippled regionally, Scottish viewers siding with their lasses pluck, English elders echoing Cliff's croon for calm, mirroring the very divide debated. Late-night hosts lampooned it lovingly, James Corden quipping, Cliff got the hook fitting for a man who's dodged them all his life. While Graham Norton mused, morning TV, where coffee's strong and Clash's stronger. Sales spiked. A Cliff's back catalog climbed charts. Lorraine's book club picks flew off shelves, proving infamy's ironic boon. Yet, whispers of deeper wounds lingered. Cliff's allusions to media mistrust, rooted in his 2016 raid ordeal, adding poignancy to his parting shot. Lorraine's advocacy for inclusivity, forged in her own trailblazing trail, fueling her fiery finish. Stakeholders weighed in. A PRS for music praising the promo for Pop's Past, BPI bosses backing the buzz for Beats Bold. As days dawned into a week, the heat haze lifted, revealing not fracture but fertile ground for future features. Invites poured in, podcasts probing the pop divide, documentaries dissecting daytime dynamics. This wasn't mere melee, it was a masterclass in media's mirror, reflecting society's symphony of strife and synergy. And in its wake, a tentative thaw. Cliff spotted at a charity gala humming a hip-hop hook, Lorraine playlisting Lucky Lips on her Insta story. Reconciliation? Perhaps. But for now, the narrative nestles in nuance, a reminder that even ejections can evolve into encores, given time and a touch of tenor. As we edge toward epilogue, reflect, in the echo chamber of entertainment, clashes catalyze connection, turning tension into timeless tales. Peering beyond the buzz, this brouhaha between Britain's beloved balladeer and his breakfast broadcaster unveils undercurrents that course through culture's veins, from the veneration of vintage voices to the valorization of viral vibes, urging us to unpack the universal and the ultra-specific. At its essence, the clash crystallizes the chasm between eras. Cliff, emblem of an analog age where hits were hammered out in sweaty studios and sold on shellac, embodies endurance, his evasion of excess a rebuke to rock's reckless rebels. His career, a comet's tale of consistency, over 100 million records, royal receptions, resilience through ridicule, stands as testament to tenacity, teaching that true timbre transcends trends. Yet, in Lorraine's lens, this longevity risks ossification, a gilded cage confining creativity to corseted conventions. ignoring the insurgent ingenuity of indie uploads and bedroom beats that democratize the dream. Lorraine herself, rising from regional reporter to ratings royalty, personifies progress, her show a sanctuary for story sidelined. From Survivor sagas to Stars stumbles, her empathy engineered from Edinburgh roots where resilience was rationed. Their tangle, then, isn't trivial, it's tectonic, tilting toward tolerance for transformation, where elders' edicts yield to youth's yearnings, not an erasure but elevation. Broader implications burble up. In an industry imperiled by algorithms, does deference to decades dull discovery, or does it anchor artistry amid I's ascent? Cliff's critique, cloaked in concern, cautions against commodification, where quantity quells quality, streams supplanting substance. Lorraine's laud, laced with liberation, lauds the leveling, laptops launching legends without labels large S. This mirrors music's macro-mutations from Motown's muster to MTV's mania, now to metaverse mashups, each epoch excoriated by its antecedent, yet each enriching the expanse. Societally, it spotlights schisms, boomers brandishing ballots for bygone ballads, zoomers zapping zines with zeitgeist zingers, the generational grudge a Gordian knot needing nuance nips. Yet, hope hums in the harmony. Post-clash, collaborations cropped up, a Cliff cameoing in a charity cover of a current chart topper, Lorraine launching a Legends Versus, like series blending Barry Manilow with Billie Eilish. Lessons abound for luminaries and layfolk. Discourse demands daring, but diplomacy diffuses detonations. Passion propels, but pause prevents perdition. For TV titans, it's a tutorial in threading the tightrope, fostering friction without fomenting feuds, turning talk into tapestry. In wider waters, it waves a wand over workplace woes, where wisdom wars with whimsy, urging unions over upheavals. And for fans, a fiesta of reflection, curate your canon, but crack the door to the new, lest your playlist petrifies. This episode, etched in ether, elevates entertainment from escapism to enlightenment, proving that when worlds collide on camera, the collision can catalyze communion. As we went toward wrap-up, whisper this: scandals, savored slowly, sow seeds of solidarity, stitching seams in society's sonic soul. The kickoff wasn't a knockout, but a nudge toward nuance, inviting icons to improvise together rather than intone in isolation. In the grand gig of life, every encore enriches, every ejection a mere intermission.